This one is slightly different. We are doing a 6-week episode series, whatever you want to call it, where we are going to be explaining, or say I am going to be explaining to you how to get started with the paranormal. It's something that I get asked all the time, so we thought that we would make this short little series of videos where I can give you tips and tricks, because I've only been in it just over a year, although I've been interested in it for 40 years. But it's something that I get asked all the time, like, how do you get started? What do I need to do if I want to go on an investigation, etc., etc. So we thought we'd make this little series just to be a little bit helpful, and give those guys some pointers. And maybe if you've been in paranormal for a while, you might learn something. Or if you've got any tips and tricks, you can drop them in the comments and impart your own wisdom, because we're all learning here.
Welcome to Shell's After Dark Archives, the podcast where the veil between the known and the unknown is lifted. I'm your host, Shell, and I'm here to guide you through the shadows of the supernatural. So, whether you're a skeptic, a believer, or just curious, get ready to embrace the unknown.
Turn off the lights, settle in, and prepare to journey into the After Dark Archives.
So, the first thing I want to talk about is how I actually got started in it. So, I've been interested in paranormal for, as I said, 40 years. I am a born medium. I'm only now getting used to calling myself that. That's a whole journey in itself that I will go into more details in at some point. But basically, I've always been interested in it. There was a point where I sort of grew out of it, just because I was trying to be like a normal human. And I was obviously going through school and everything. But there was this point where I was a teenager where I really got into Wiccan. I think it was the point where The Craft was coming out. You had Practical Magic, Sabrina the Teenage Witch was on TV, all of those things, and I was really interested in it. And we also had things like Are You Afraid of the Dark, Goosebumps, and there was another TV program, Round the Twist, which I found scarier than all of the rest of them. You have to let me know in the comments if you were the same. But there were some episodes of that Round the Twist that were really terrifying. And I found them probably worse than the X-Files or anything like that. But I've always had this morbid curiosity, so it's always been there. Whether I've like ignored it or been really fully into it, I've changed throughout the years. In my 20s, I kind of didn't really. I didn't really get into it that much, but I did actually go to like mediums. I used to go see Nikki Allen, she's a really good medium. When I was sort of 18, 19, me and my mum used to go with my best friend and a couple of people that we used to work with. And we used to go watch her shows when she used to do in Bungay. Now, Bungay is a very haunted place in itself, and that's where the Black Shuck comes from. And I've done an episode on that, so you have to go check that out. That being aside, it was I've always had that draw to older places as well. We used to go to a lot of National Trust places, and me and my best friend, we always find ourselves in a graveyard. Whenever we go out and about, we're always drawn to graveyards. It's just been one of those things. So I've always been into it, and I didn't particularly read that much about it when I was younger. There were the odd Goosebumps books and that, but as I've got older, the more reading I do, the more I'm drawn to, as you can see in the background, a lot of haunted stuff, ghost stories, true crimes, that kind of genre. I've got those books to the side of me here. They're all Darcy Coates. She creates and writes amazing ghost stories. But what I'm going to talk to you about is actually like more factual stuff, because there are places in there where you can actually find really good ghost hunting tips, and you can find places to actually start to explore yourself. So I'm going to go into those a bit later. So my own personal experiences with spirit, I will go into a proper deep dive into this at some point. But I grew up with a spirit. I've spoken about it many times, but I had a spirit who was quite prominent with me throughout my family home. I used to see spirits wherever I went. Used to talk to them, see them. I used to actually like seeing them as like actual people. We wouldn't be able to tell the difference. Now I kind of more see them as sort of shadows, or like an imprinted image in my mind of what they're meant to look like. Um, but family wise, we all, especially my mum's side, we all had fascination with paranormal. My granddad used to tell me ghost stories from when he was a policeman and used to go around checking different things. Whenever we went to families, like for cousins and stuff, they used to tell me ghost stories. Um, we've all been really interested in it in one way or another, so it's been quite prominent. But the weird thing is that none of us kind of really spoke about our gifts or anything, um, which is bizarre. But that's a whole different story in itself. So, what made me actually become a paranormal investigator? Um, It was a little bit by accident. I'd basically just moved here and I didn't know anyone, so I decided to um, try and meet some people locally because I know we're going to be here for a long time. So I was like, right, I need to like get out there and meet some people. And what I decided to do was, I don't know, I didn't actually decide to do it. I just happened to be on Facebook, was looking at our local marketplace for bits and bobs, and it came up saying that there was a live paranormal event. The local team were actually doing it in an antique shop. Now, I love antique shops and I love paranormal, so for me, that was like a win-win situation. So I went along and it was a really good night. I was picking up on loads of stuff as well, which I didn't really like plan on doing. It just happened. Um, and then the team afterwards, I was talking to them and they said, we'd really like you to like come with us on a few more hunts and like join the team. So I said, oh yeah, fine, yeah, that sounds really good. Um, for me, that was a big move because I've been really terrified of spirits and stuff, because of my own personal experiences. So I found it really, really interesting that I was just like, yeah, okay. And ever since then, we've been stuck together. They might find they're stuck with me more than I'm stuck with them, but we've been to a few places. Sunderland Air Museum we go to quite a lot. That's an amazing place. We've been to so many places. There's quite a few local places around here that we go to, like pubs and stuff. We've been to the Old Nick Theatre in Gainsborough, which was really good. Um, we've been to a few places in Leeds. We've been to the Old Bank House. Have been to Armley Mills. There's loads of places, and we've got loads more coming up. One of which is 30 East Drive, which I'm really interested in because a lot of people have very strong opinions of that place. I'm quite excited to just go and find out on my own what my opinions are. And I'll probably report back on that at some point. So that's kind of how I got started into being a paranormal investigator. Now, I didn't have any equipment, any clue whatsoever. I've kind of just intuitively gone along with what I think I should be doing, which is usually just pen and paper and pendulum. I have started to use a little bit of equipment just to back myself up on what I'm getting coming through. But it's really interesting. The equipment's something that we'll go into on another episode. But yeah, it's something that I would never regret doing because this is how Shell Spooky Stories happened. And what I'm doing now, and really going into my mediumship now. So it all divine timing. So if you're interested in it, I'd just say like have a look locally, just see what's going on. You've got marketplace, your local village things. You can Google like to see whether there's any local paranormal teams and get in touch with them. Facebook's amazing for that. You've also got Eventbrite, a lot of paranormal teams that do them for the public will be on there. You can also look at places of historic value around where you are, to see whether they hold any paranormal evenings. I know that where we are is Chillingham Castle, and they do a lot of paranormal things, and they advertise quite regular about it. So have a look, because you never know. You never know what you're going to find. One thing I will say is that when I started thinking about paranormal investigations, when I was before I actually started doing them, I had that classic image of poltergeist, paranormal activity, Blair Witch, all of those things, all of the Hollywood moments came to my mind. And I thought to myself, oh my God, I'm going to go in here and there'll be chairs flying, people will be getting possessed. I'll bring everything home with me. I'll never be able to sleep again. That was the kind of thing that put me off doing paranormal investigations. Paranormal investigations are nothing like that. Yes, you do get the odd bit of somebody being taken over, or somebody brings something home with them. Something moves every now and again, which is always amazing if it does, because it's very rare. But it's nothing like Hollywood movies at all. I think a lot of paranormal investigators probably wouldn't paranormal investigate if it was like that, because a lot of us tend to be, I mean, no matter who you are, if you're in a dark room and you've been sat in the silent for 10, 15 minutes and suddenly you hear a noise, you're going to shit your pants. No matter who you are. You could be the best medium in the world and you'd probably still jump. But that is a lot of what happens. You're sitting there for a while and nothing's happening. You're asking questions, you're getting no responses. But then there are other times when you do actually get responses, and they're the special moments, because that makes you really understand that what you're doing is valuable and you're actually like proving something to people. So it's a lot of, you have to like sitting in the dark for a long period of time, and you have to like being cold because a lot of these places do not have heating because they're old. Some barely have roofs, to be honest. But it is fun. You have to find the right people, though, the right people to be with. I'm quite lucky that the people that I'm with now, I get on really well with. We've had a few people come in and out that you do get paranormal teams that have a lot of issues. There are a lot of people that are in it for the wrong reasons. But that's probably the same with everything that you do. They come along and cause some bother, and then things tend to get settled. As you could get a new person come into your work and disrupt it all, and create unaligned, what am I trying to say, like disruption to the force, we'll call it. It happens quite a lot. There are some people that are really like not great in the paranormal world. And then there are some people that are absolutely brilliant. Luckily I've only met a few people that I could probably do without meeting. But there are lessons in that. We'll probably do a life lesson thing at some point. But there are other people who are absolutely brilliant, and you have such a laugh. And I think sometimes when you're really tired and you have to keep going, you need those people to like bring you up and have a good laugh with. And my team are brilliant for that. We have such good fun when we're doing these things, but we are also serious when it needs to be serious, which is the whole point. So I've got some of my book collection here to talk to you about, because I think these books are quite good for like anyone who's really wanting to build on their knowledge of the paranormal. So the first one I'm going to talk about is it's actually something that one of my colleagues got me for Christmas, and it's really interesting. It's the Mammoth Book of True Hauntings, and it's got over 100 eyewitnessing accounts on modern day hauntings from around the world. So it's that book. It's pretty hefty, but it's got so many really great paranormal encounters that have happened. You've got ghostly pilots, aircraft, haunted airfields. So they've got really old ones from like the 1900s to 2000s. Ghost hunters, 50 authentic supernatural experiences, phantoms in the sky, which is the pilots, aircraft, and haunted airfields, encounters with the unknown, haunted stars, show business, and the supernatural, which is an interesting one. I quite enjoyed that because I love a bit of showbiz goss. And when it's haunted, it's even better. Supernatural tales, true ghost stories by famous authors. Phantom lovers, sexual encounters with ghosts. That's a very juicy chapter, that one. What are ghosts? Theories of the experts. And the A to Z of ghosts, phantoms of the world. So it's really interesting. There's some really, really great stories in there. So I would highly recommend that one to anyone. Now, I've got 3 of these books, and I do believe, because I've done a little research on Amazon, you can pretty much get them for anywhere you are. So I've got this one, which is Paranormal Newcastle. So this is full of like all the different places in Newcastle that are haunted. So this gives you great advice on like where you can go and visit. Now, some of these places are actually open to the public like all the time. So you can like the Victorian Library that they've got, Tyne Theatre and Opera House, the Black Gate, these Castle Keep. You can go to these places during the day, and I would imagine a majority of these would actually have like haunted nights as well. And you could obviously rent them out. Renting out does get expensive in the paranormal. That's a whole different topic, because some of them are bloody ridiculous. And you would only really be able to afford to go if you were a really big team, or if you were obviously making some good money doing this, which there's only a small majority of people that do that. This one is Paranormal Sunderland. So as you can imagine, these are all up my way, where I am at the moment. You won't be able to tell from my voice because I am originally from Norfolk. So we've got my favourite place. I don't know if you can see that because of the lighting. North East Land, Air and Sea Museum, Nelsham, which is Sunderland Air Museum, where I go quite regular. It's one of my favourite places. It's one of the most active places, and that you can visit during the day. So there's absolutely loads of things in these. The other one I've got is Paranormal Northumberland, which has got all the things in here that you can go to, places for worship, Lindisfarne. That's definitely got a vibe. I've been there during the day and it is definitely haunted. I can tell you that much. I'll tell you a weird thing about there actually. We were sat on the outside bit of the old Abbey ruins, and they've got a kitchen bit, and the rest of it was quite a chilly day, so the wind was blowing and everything. And when you're on an island in the North Sea, you can definitely feel the wind. And then we went down into this kitchen bit, and the air around the kitchen bit was so hot. And I called my friend over to see whether she could feel it, and she couldn't feel it. But I was absolutely boiling in this area that was meant to be the kitchen. So strange. But yeah, it's definitely haunted. I can tell you that much. Now this one's a bit of a different one, but fascinating nevertheless. So Borley Rectory is one of the most probably well-known. It's probably up there with like 30 East Drive and the Enfield haunting. But it's a very well-known because it's so documented. The Borley Rectory. So this is the complete guide to the most haunted house in England. It isn't there anymore. The house is burnt down, fell to the ground. I believe there's partial ruins there. I don't actually know if you can even still get on the land. Someone will have to let me know in the comments. But this is one hell of a read. and it is very scientific because it has, it's got floor plans. It's literally got floor plans in the place. It's got accounts, faces on the wall. It's got drawings from investigations that have been done over time, telegrams, accounts from people. It's got objects that were placed, so you can see where people have like placed certain trigger objects, even pictures. It's got things about the history of it, things they found. Absolutely everything is in this book, and it's really fascinating. I'm still yet to read like all of it. It's got the famous like writing on the walls that they found. You can check out my episode on Borley Rectory as well, because we got a lot of stuff from there as well. So that's a really good one. I think you have to be really into your paranormal maybe to read that one, but Borley Rectory in itself is something that you can read up on, to give you really good clues on how to do paranormal investigations. And this one is, my best friend got me this for my 40th birthday. It's amazing in here. You've got so much information about the afterlife, paranormal, places around the world that you could visit. So if you like your travel and tourism, that's really good as well. I'm running out of room. I have to do a shameful plug here. I do apologise, but it will help you. So this is the Paranormal Journal that I wrote. It is Echoes in the Dark, the Paranormal Journal. Yeah, I understand that's back to front, sorry. That's a Victorian scrying mirror. That was the design that I came up with. And I wanted some really like dark kind of wallpaper in the background. But this is to document your paranormal activity. It's quite thick. Available on Amazon. So at the beginning of it, we have I have a dedication to Liam's dad in there, which is he set up the paranormal team that I'm in, and unfortunately passed away. And we kind of carry on his legacy. About the author, which is me. And then we have, so in these pages, you've got how to use the journal, getting started, during the investigation, basic equipment, optional tools for beginners, budget-friendly tips, which is always good, isn't it? We love a money-saving tip. Safety, protecting your body, mind, and spirit, spiritual protection, crystals, tools for protection like your Palo Santo, sage, and salts, amulets, talismans, holy water, sound, candles, wearable and practical tools. We've got ruins, sigils for protection, EVP sessions, observational, oh my god, that's a hard word, observational techniques using an EMF meter, capturing photos and videos, opening rituals, establishing boundaries, setting intentions, synchronizing tools and team energy, tips for using prayers. I've got a protection prayer in there. I've got chakra energy work in there, which is very important. Exercises for the journal, choosing locations, how to prepare your locations, how to start the investigations, and then you've got a whole bunch of things in here where you can even like put down the environmental situations. You can log everything in here. Your visual is haunted objects, and there is, I basically, when I set this up, I asked 40 different paranormal investigators how many paranormal investigations they went on, and a lot of them said like 2 to 3 a month. So we've basically set the whole thing up so that you can have a whole year's worth of investigations in that book. So I like to think it's very valuable. So you can check that out. It is available on Amazon. Another thing that I wanted to talk about is your own expectations, and why you want to get into the paranormal. I think your intention towards working with the paranormal always has to be super clear. Some people go in with the wrong intention and end up getting hurt, burnt, and it not going very well. So I think you have to be really clear on why you want to get into this. And I personally am not someone who will use provocation. I don't think that's right personally. I do know people that do use it, and 95% of the time something does happen to them because they've used it. I like to go in there and treat them like I would another human being. I'll communicate with them, I'll be very nice to them. If they say something horrible to me, I will just stop communication and walk away, because that's how I would treat a human. That is just how I work it. There are people in there that will go and wind them up, and often something does happen. And it can stay with that person for a very long time. So it's not always a good thing when that happens. So I would say make sure your intentions are really clear, and make sure you are there for the right reasons, and work with the right people as well. You've got to find the right people for you, which might take you a few different teams to work out. You might be lucky like me and find the right one to start with. But yeah, just be careful and be mindful of what you're doing, because it can be dangerous. And research is always key. Like, learn as much as you can, and this is where things like paranormal Facebook groups come into account, because you will find people in there that will share their experiences, they'll share tips, advice. You can get ideas on equipment and everything in there as well. So I would say use them as much as possible to learn from. You will learn the right things to do and you will learn the wrong things to do. But it's a great place to actually also make friends. And I don't only go with my team. My team go with other people. We have when we were at Armley Mills, we had 4 or 5 different teams there. When we were at the Old Nick Theatre, there was a couple of teams there as well. So collaboration is really good as well. And you can learn how different teams work, and that's quite interesting because you pick up some really good tips. Another thing I will mention is that there are actual proper paranormal research places that you can go to, and they can be really valuable on the scientific side of things as well. So that's something to really bear in mind. So I'm going to set a little homework challenge. So the homework that I'm going to set for you for this episode is I want you to do some research into your local area about what paranormal things you can find in your area, whether it be buildings, stories, places to go. And then I want you to go online and try and find some paranormal events or paranormal groups that work within your area and start connecting with them. And I want you to drop in the comments as well if you've actually done this and tell me about it, because I love hearing about people's experiences. And if you have got a creepy experience, we're trying to do something really good for Halloween, and I would love you to send in. I'll get Tom to put their email address here, shellspookystories@yahoo.com. If you can send us in a little clip video of you telling us about your spooky story, we will put it on Shell Spooky Stories as a Halloween episode. We want to hear from you about your experiences. So thank you ever so much for watching. Please make sure you hit that like button, drop us a comment, hit subscribe. So many of you that watch aren't subscribed, and it really helps us to get this channel moving. We've got really big things coming up. Tom, my editor, and I, we want to do some wild things, and that can only happen if you guys keep continuing to watch, liking, sharing, subscribing. And please let me know if you do that homework. I can't wait to hear about it, and I shall see you all on the next one. Bye.
Thank you for joining me on this journey into the unknown on Shell's After Dark archives. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss a story that sends chills down your spine. I'd love to hear about your own paranormal experiences, so drop a comment or send me a message. Your story might even be featured in a future episode, and if you're loving the show, please leave a like and share it with your fellow seekers of the supernatural. For those who want even more exclusive content, behind-the-scenes insights, and bonus episodes, join the membership. You'll find the link in the description below. Your support keeps the lights off and the stories coming. Until next time, stay curious, stay brave, and keep exploring the shadows. See you in the archives, after dark.